Yeah.
Hello, so my name is Ben Mantle, and I'm a 6th Dan Canadian Go player.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hello. So, today I will talk about opening and opening direction, okay? So, I'm gonna start off simple. Okay, so suppose white approaches from here. Actually, suppose black plays the 3-star opening, Sanrense. This is to develop a moyo or large framework, right? You guys know? So it's very different from this sort of thing. This kind of move tries to make corner territory. So we call that territorial play. You guys understand that? It's a third line. So black wants to make a big shape. Suppose white approaches from here. You guys have some ideas where should black respond? Pincer.
G6.
D6. Yep. So this one is fine. This is a simple passive response. Later on, so white might choose maybe this Joseki. Or white might, and then black will play on this side or this side now, because this side's more crowded now. So next, black may approach here and prevent white from overwhelming this area, or simply over here. White may also play this kind of opening, so very similar to black's opening, trying to not really care too much about the territory, which black can easily invade, but just trying to make a big shape over here. So next, if white plays a move like this later, to get the corner, this move also makes it very difficult for black to play in this area, because normally when black approaches, let's say approaches inside, white does not yet have a stone over here, right? So when this stone is already here, it's going to be very difficult for black to play here, because white can immediately start attacking. And now it's white's move, right? So black's in some trouble. So this move also helps to build this whole area. It's almost like having a wall here. It helps black to helps white to box in this whole area. So when white has these stones over here, it's very likely for black to approach from this side. Also, these 3 stones have a pretty big weakness, right? You can come in the middle, but it's okay, because one of the ways later black can deal with it is with moves like this. This threatens to destroy white's area, and also makes it so if white tries to come in here, this black stone supports black trying to encircle white if that happens. So for example, white plays here. Where do you guys think black should play?
E8.
E8.
E8. E8. So here. This one? Oh, this one?
No, yeah.
Okay. This one is okay. This one has one weakness though. When you attach to another stone, you also give yourself only 3 liberties, right?
Yeah.
So both stones have only 3 liberties, but it's white's turn. So, for example, suppose white plays here and black cuts. Now white can break out like this, right? And white's going to be able to run away. But there's many ways that this can be played out. White can also choose to simply move along here and just make eye space like this. But this stone is for black to make himself stronger. So since you already have strength over here, it's instead of playing over here, it's better to play this one and push white into your stone. Make sense? So if this happens, it's very difficult for white to escape. So in fact, white would probably sacrifice this at this point. So let's take a look at the pincer. White approaches black's corner. And one common pincer would be the one space low pincer, the tight pincer. There's other pincers you can choose. It's also pretty normal here. So there's the 2-space high pincer. So let's start with the low pincer. So if white does the simple thing and go for the corner, corner is always a high priority in this game, right? Unless you play a really framework-oriented style. But in general, corner is an easy place to make territory. So this kind of move is not very good for white. When we play here, we know black can cut white off, right? Like this. So some people might be afraid of getting cut off and think to play just this. But the problem with this is that there's no room for white to extend this way. So this move basically gives black the corner, most of it, but also does not really get enough 2-eyes space for white. So white usually would not play here. If white's not going to play here, white would usually play either this one or possibly double approach.
Yeah.
So let's look at this. Black has 2 choices, right? A and B. Which choice do you guys think is correct? Yeah.
B.
This one?
A.
A.
This one?
Yeah. B.
Okay, we got 2 A's and 2 B's. So let's look at this one first. A.
B.
Do you guys know this pattern already?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so black has a lot of trouble if they try to play this. One example, there's multiple variations you can choose here, but if white plays here, then to stay true to this move, black would want to keep white cut, right?
Yeah.
Now, if white simply cuts here, one of these two gets captured. So imagine black tries to save this side by playing here or here. This move looks like the natural next move. However, black can return to the other side like this. It gets a little complicated, but basically white goes here, black can cut, and by sacrificing this stone, black can cut here off from here. So for example, so trying to cut these two black apart, white would have to play here, but black can simply play like this and go there. Make sense?
Yeah.
It's really bad for white because this one barely lives. This one one of these two might die, and also this one is just cut off, right? So basically, black can return home with this move here. So instead of playing here, white should play here. It looks dangerous because these are not connected to each other, right? But even if white plays Atari here, nothing happens. Where should white play here? How to capture these ones? E2? Yeah, that's right. So because black has only 3 liberties and we have a white stone here, we can wedge here. This move is basically suicide for black, right?
Yeah.
So you have to play here, but even you play this, now you're in Atari and this whole black dies.
Yeah.
So that means if black saves this stone, this one gets captured. And if black comes out in some way with this stone, white simply plays here and this stone has nowhere to go, right? In either case, it's really, really bad for black. So basically you cannot play the Hane. So black moves straight, white plays Hane. Do you guys know why we play this before we jump here? Yeah, just go ahead and say stuff.
So they won't have to do it after.
Well, what this does is we only get a little bit more corner territory, right? However, our stone on the outside gets damaged really badly, right? It's almost captured, right? So why does white play all of this just to get 2 or 3 more points in the corner? Well, one of the important things in Go is to stay ahead of your opponent. Okay, so this is what we mean by stay ahead. If white plays like this, now black has a chance to hunt in and wrap around our shape. So basically we want to play here, but if we do this directly without these exchanges, well, you see a
White's
problem?
dead.
Push
Yeah.
through.
No.
Yeah, so this stone has 4 liberties. These 2 stones have only 4 liberties. Now both are down to 3 liberties. So now black can simply cut one side. So if white connects this side, these 3 stones are captured. And if white captures the stone, this is basically bait, okay? Black wants white to take this stone. And then black counter-Ataris on this side. And then you can see now, depending on the ladder, black either ladders this 1 stone away or simply just goes here. In either case, this is really bad for white. So that was all about liberties, right? The reason that happened is because we were short of liberties. So what this does is increases the liberties of this shape. Okay, so let's look at the results. So white got territory here. Black has a strong shape around here. So now playing in this area is going to be good for black to develop this. How about this stone? Is it in a good spot or a bad spot?
Good.
Okay, why?
Because we don't really see any white pieces around it, and it's just a line of the other 2 stones
Okay.
being big.
Are you sort of asking if it was one line lower, or was it better or worse?
Well, I'll tell you, whether it's here or here, it's not in a good place. And here's why. So what you said is true. This stone is safe, it's not in any danger, and also there's some unison between this wall and this stone, which you could say it helps black to control this area, right?
Yeah.
However, this is way too hard to get. It takes, like, if you try to just kind of forcefully surround this area, it's going to be very inefficient, right? I mean, we know that with 2 moves, you can get more than 10 points in the corner. But, well, if you look at the center, let's just give an example. Let's make a center territory that cannot be invaded or cut, okay? So let's say it looks like this. How many points, absolute points, does black have roughly
5.
here? 5?
Okay.
Even if it's 10, it's actually less than 10. Even if it's 10, is that efficient? Is that good?
No.
No.
4 stones to get 10 points. That's 2.5 points per move in the beginning of the game. Moves in the beginning of the game are worth like 20 or more, 15 or more at least. So, actually, the points here is not what's good about this shape. It's actually the influence that these guys will have on the rest of the game. But I want to show you something that's really funny. You know, later on in the game, like, there would be a lot of other stones around, right? So eventually, if white has a group over here, maybe a group here, you can imagine white forcing at the territory from all sides.
Yeah.
So if we just look at this in terms of what black definitely has for territory. One point. Obviously a real game is not going to look like this, but 1 point.
Yeah.
And actually that can happen because in the end game, there's a million stones in the center and you keep pushing at the opponent, reducing by 1 point, reducing by 2 points, 1 point. And sometimes you thought you're gonna get 20 points, 15 points, and it's 1 point. So this is why unless you have a lot of influence all over the board, you don't really try hard to get a big moyo or framework shape. This is why especially professional players or high-level players, we really like corners a lot because